The wire clears on a Tuesday. $1.3 million for something you built quietly over 11 years that nobody in your family ever fully understood. You don't celebrate. You sit in your driveway with the engine off, watching your father, 66 years old, lying on a piece of flattened cardboard under your car, draining the oil himself because he said the shop would charge $40 for a $10 job. He has no idea your phone just buzzed against the cup holder. One text from your brother. You heard you sold. We should talk. You hadn't told him. You hadn't told anyone, so you already know the answer to the question you're about to ask yourself. Money is the one secret that tells itself. You put the phone face down. Your father asks if you've got a funnel in the garage. Not did the deal close, not are we different now. Just funnel. You go get it, and for about 4 minutes, standing in the garage holding a piece of plastic, everything is still exactly what it was. It won't stay that way. The family finds out the way families always do, through your mother, who cannot hold a secret the way a screen door cannot hold a draft. By the weekend, everyone knows. And so they do what families do. They throw a cookout. There are folding tables. Your uncle burning the burgers on purpose because that's his whole personality. Kids running through a sprinkler. And you moving through all of it, watching everyone watch you slightly differently than they used to. Your brother gets to you with a beer and says it loud enough for the table to hear. Careful around this guy. He'll charge you for the ride home now. Everyone laughs and you laugh too. That's the trap because it has the exact shape of love. The teasing, the whole table laughing at the kid who made good. And for 1 second you let yourself believe nothing has changed. Then your cousin slides in next to you and says, half joking, all the way serious, when you start hiring, you'll think of family first, right? And he laughs, and you laugh, and someone else laughs. A joke is just how people ask for something they're not brave enough to say out loud, and you're starting to hear it under every laugh, a small open hand, waiting. December arrives. You walk into the store knowing exactly what you could buy, and walk out with mid-tier, forgettable things. A candle, a sweater, capping your own generosity, because handing your mother the keys to a paid-off car would trigger a conversation you aren't ready for. You drive home with ordinary gifts and the specific loneliness of someone pretending they can't afford kindness. 3 weeks later, your cousin posts a GoFundMe, a medical thing, $20,000 urgent. You could close it in 60 seconds, but you donate anonymously instead and watch the family share the link and cry over a stranger's kindness. You sit with your phone in your hands and say nothing. You are the stranger, always the stranger in that story. That's the cost, not the money, the credit. Your brother calls, not a text, a call. And there's a softness in his voice you haven't heard in months. Against everything you've watched since the wire cleared, it works. You want it to be him so badly that you say yes before you've even hung up. You sit at his kitchen table. There's coffee when you sit down. Then he says the number, $40,000. And underneath the table, 14 years quietly rearrange themselves. $40 then, $40,000 now. Pay me when you're a millionaire. He'd laughed when he said it, driving 40 minutes through the cold to press his last 40 into your hand the night the fridge was almost empty. He isn't asking for a loan. In his mind, he's collecting one. It can't lose. He says those exact words twice. The quiet voice in you says he doesn't want help. He wants to be even. And you cannot buy a man even. You know the voice is right. You say yes anyway. You say yes to his face. To the small chance the money buys back the brother who drove through the cold. The relief on his face almost makes it worth it. 6 weeks later, the deal falls apart, all of it gone, and instead of an apology, there's something else. He needs more, or not to ask, but to explain why you're going to give it. The first 40 was just the entry. Pulling out now wastes it. You wouldn't even feel another 30. You tell him no. Your first no, and it comes out softer than you mean it to. 2 days later, your mother calls. She opens with a sentence that tells you exactly who got to her first. Why are you doing this to your brother? The question has already decided you're guilty. You start to explain the $40,000, the deal, the second ask. You hear her go quiet on the other end, not listening, waiting for you to finish so she can say the thing she called to say. He's struggling, she says, and you have so much now. There it is. So much now, as if the number changed what you owe her. As if love came with a sliding scale and yours just went up. You say you'll think about it, which both of you know means you won't. But you say it anyway. After you hang up, you understand something you won't be able to unfeel. Your brother didn't argue with your no. He didn't need to. He just walked down the hall to a room you can't enter and let your mother carry the message back. He isn't fighting you anymore, he's recruiting. It spreads quietly after that. A text left unread. A nickname with a small hook in the laugh behind it, none of it big enough to point at. All of it adding up to something you'd sound paranoid for naming out loud. And at Thanksgiving, that same uncle walks you through 40 minutes of financial advice from a podcast while you nod and swallow 11 years of knowing better. A self-made millionaire being given directions to a place he's already been, protecting the empire by pretending he needs directions to it. Your father, through all of this, hasn't said a single word about the money. That same week, he shows up unannounced, sits at your kitchen table for an hour, tells you a pointless story about someone he used to work with, laughs at his own ending, rinses his cup, and goes home. No opportunity, no agenda, just an hour of nothing that turns out to be the most valuable thing anyone gives you all year. Months later, he tells you, all of it, the 40 acres upstate, your grandfather's land, the only thing your father ever owned that meant anything. He sold it before you started, folded the money quietly into the beginning of you, and never said a word. Not when the business nearly died. Not the Tuesday the wire cleared and you became the first millionaire in a family that didn't know he'd built the floor you were standing on. You ask him why he kept it secret. He tells you about his own brother, money he lent once, a long time ago. How after that, the money was always in the room at every holiday, every phone call, sitting at the table like a third person. Until one day his brother just stopped coming. Because it's easier to lose a brother than to sit across from a debt? I wasn't going to put a number between us, he says, so I made sure there wasn't one to find. Nothing gets fixed after that. Your brother doesn't repay the $40,000. Your mother doesn't apologize. The family doesn't reset to who it was before the wire cleared. Because families don't reset. They just find the new shape of themselves and go on. But something in you goes quiet. The resentment you were carrying, the scorecard you didn't know you were keeping, gone. Not because anyone earned it back, because you finally know which kind of person each of them is, and you've stopped expecting any of them to be a different kind. A few months later, your father's car is making a sound he doesn't like. He's about to drive it to the shop. You tell him no. You wave him off. You've got it. You slide under on a piece of flattened cardboard, the same way he did that first Tuesday, and you drain the oil yourself. It's a $10 job. The shop would charge $40. That was never the reason, and you know that now. You're under there longer than the job takes. On your back in the quiet, your hands doing the thing his hands did, and you finally understand what he was saying all those years with a wrench and a cold driveway and a question that was never about a funnel. He was never fixing the car. He was saying, I love you, in the only language that doesn't ask for anything back. The one that doesn't keep score, the one you couldn't hear until the year everyone else got loud. You tighten the drain plug. You slide out into the light. Your father is standing on the porch watching you. He doesn't say anything, and neither do you. Some things don't need words. Wealth, money, and the lives behind the numbers.